So here's my concept on how I'd make a Marvel's Heroes for Hire game. Because, I recently saw this creator, Holiday. He had the same idea as me doing a duo game with Luke and Danny in the form of split fiction. Now, of course, I was keeping this concept in the vault for if I do ever actually get to lead a game. But, that would probably be years from now. I might forget I have this draft. And I have like a bunch of other Marvel game drafts. Because, like, as a writer, to prevent a writer's block, that's the thing I do. I just kind of conjure up game drafts. So I got others than Duffy. But now for the actual concept, I'll title this Power Man and Iron Fist Ground Zero. And so the plot of this game is essentially the New York's on the ground zero. All the big hitters in New York are gone. So basically, Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four, Strange, they're all in space or in other dimensions, all out, and some villain got this info. Haven't never thought that far ahead to get to the villain. But so because of this, now everyone is getting robbed. So Luke and Danny are basically left with all these gangs and like a gang war, all these villains and stuff getting their hands on all sorts of tools. So you got people like gangs running around with Hulk's gamma infused blood, got Hawkeye's arrows running around, maybe get a bullseye boss fight with Hawkeye, him stealing his arrows, got all the Mr. Fantastic's techs running around, Stranger's magic artifacts running around, whatever they'd steal from X-Men, some tech from Beast, some tech from Forge, all sorts of weaponry and shenanigery. And then like basically each of these little set pieces would be their own level. So, Luke and Danny having to go to Avengers Mansion, Baxter Building, Sanctum Sanctorum, the Xavier School. Of course, the other street heroes would be here in case they want to use them, because the very nature of this game would mean it would have to be Marvel published, akin to something like Ultimate Alliance or Midnight Suns. Because, like, yes, even though it's a draft I made when I was bored, I did actually look up licensing. So, this wouldn't be similar to an Insomniac, because Insomniac had to buy out the Spider-Man license. This would be Marvel in-house published, because, having the Avengers Mansion, X Mansion, Fantastic Four building, Strange stuff, you'd have to buy each of those individual properties, which, no one could feasibly do. So it would have to be published by Marvel itself. But yeah, I think this is how I do a smooth, solid little concept of Power Man and Iron Fist Ground Zero. Them just running around having to deal with low-level gang violence amplified by high-level superhero gear just on the streets. And then, other heroes can show up, or at least street-level heroes. And then, of course, maybe an X-Men, because, one of the X-Men would probably be watching the mansion. Maybe if you want to include an Avenger, you could have someone watching Avengers Mansion, though they could just have Jarvis doing that. So yeah, that's the concept, because Ack, or I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I'll say Holiday. After I commented on his video, he asked to check it out. So this is it.